Today we're going to talk about how to tell story written in your data. But before that, let me do a quick introduction. My name is Daniel Lencong, as Kevin said. I'm a president of IntelliData. I'm here with my colleague Melissa Miller, who's a principal consultant and a BI expert for our in our group. So
today we're going to look at a financial story that is based on work we created for a client, which today I'm going to call American Professional Association. This dashboard has obviously been scrubbed just to protect their privacy. So APA had a really inconsistent track record with budgeting and projections of revenue. And so they decided that the best predictor of their future was to really understand their past. So we really needed to dig in and display their data in such a way that a human being could look at it and take insights out of their data. In addition to that, they wanted to be able to see trends in their data and to be able to show those pieces really quickly and easily to people who may not understand, finances on a really deep level, which included their board of directors. So the most fundamental anecdote in this story of finances is obviously profit. I'm going to click this button here to go to our profit screen. As you can see, this allows people to see their profit over a time period. I can drill in and out and view, just 1 year. I can do control click and view multiple years. In this case, I think it's a great thing to be able to see over a longer period of time. Because what you'll see as you look at this is that every year APA loses money in March. If I'm at APA, I might say, I just want to look at March. And when you do that, you'll see that their deficits were decreasing annually. But now, starting in 2020, 2021, they are having higher deficits again. And so the leadership team really decided to look into that. And what they found is that because a large percentage of their membership, they're accountants, and March is a really busy tax season, and they're not interested in going to classes. They don't want to do fundraising campaigns or really anything new. They really just want to get through in March. And so the leadership team looked at that data and they said, what can we do in February? What events can we hold that would help our accountant clients get ready for their busy season and really gear up? And then in addition to that, they're actually going to be doing social events at the end of April. So APA decided, March is a given. We are going to lose money in March. How can we build up around that to really serve our members during that time and use their busy season to cement their membership with us? In addition to that, they started thinking, should we try and diversify our member types to where maybe we don't lose money in March? So they were able to look in this insight and see just at a glance, what can we do and where can we go from here? So as I mentioned, the leadership team is also, they're not just interested in profits, they're interested in budget as well. And so if you were to hover on any one of these time periods, you can view the profit against budget for that particular time period. I'm also able to drill up to the year level or back down to the month level. And if I wanted to, I could export this data to give to my board of directors or to put on a PowerPoint slide. The other thing that's built into this, obviously this right here is an anomaly. And turns out that they were late getting invoicing out in August and revenue recognition, and it all came in September. But if I was curious as to why this happened, I could right click on my revenue line and drill through to the revenue detail. And this will show me revenue by category, in addition to what's the budget and what is my variance. So I could look at the revenue side and use this back button to go back to the previous screen. I could do the same thing on the expense side and see what are my expenses for that particular month as compared to budget. And again, I have this back button to get back to the previous screen. So you can see that we're able to, in a very small space, congregate a lot of pertinent detail and present it in a way that a human being can digest it. Now, profitability has the advantage of being something that's generally well understood by most people. If I click this home button, I can then go to my deferred revenue, which is much more cloudy to people who are not financially savvy. So a few years ago, APA converted from a cash basis accounting system to an accrual system. And while the leadership team, they understood what that meant from a definitional standpoint, they wanted to understand how the money moved through their deferral accounts. This view allows them to see the change in any given period. Now, this is a little busy, so we're going to look at one particular year. And we can see that at the beginning of the period that I just chose, there were $10 million in their deferral accounts. It increased steadily through March, at which point revenue recognition started to outpace new invoices, new deferrals, and the balance started going back down to end at $11 million. You can see if I were to hover, I can see the actual numbers here. You'll also notice the inverse relationship between revenue and deferred revenue. And this visual really brought home to the leadership team, that relationship, that as revenue gets recognized, deferrals go down, revenue goes up. Now, I could use the home button here again. I can also navigate on the left, returning to the original question. Going to look at the budgeting screen. And this screen will show revenue against budget, and then what's the variance between revenue and budget, and then averages over here if we're looking at multiple years. So after APA realized that their March slump was due to matters outside of their control, they were able to adjust their budgeting going forward, and they're focusing much more on the recovery after that slump in March. And the other thing they noticed was their overall variance for the year is actually not bad. They're pretty close, but their monthly variances are just wild in comparison to overall. So they're working on shrinking these monthly variances by looking at the data over the long haul. So if I look at every, February, I can see, what is my typical revenue in February? What was my budget over time, and try and refine that down based on market factors and everything else that I'm taking into account as well. You'll also notice that over here on the left, there are a lot more slices to this puzzle that we worked on with APA, including the ability to ask a question of the data that wasn't particularly defined. So if I'm in the leadership team and I say, well, what about XYZ? I can come in here and just ask the system, and it's going to use the model behind this to answer the question for them. But unfortunately, we're running out of time to go through the rest of these. We're happy to meet with someone and show them the rest if anybody is interested.